Meantime, House Democrats working on a plan to restrict members of Congress and their families from trading stocks. That's according to multiple reports now. Attention is focused on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, who frequently trades stocks. For more on this, I want to bring in former House Majority Leader Eric Cantor. He's now, of course, the Vice Chairman and Managing Director of Moelis & Company. What do you think? What do you think, Eric? You think that this is something that should be done?
Look, I mean, I was sort of reminiscent, Andrew, of the time that I was on the Hill, and we had a similar incident, although somewhat different, to Nancy Pelosi's husband, and issues of members beginning to engage in stock trading, almost day trading, came up, and there was a big piece on 60 Minutes and a real uproar about, hey, how in the world are you allowing members of Congress to get access to market-moving information before everyone else and then have them go and engage in day trading? So what we did and what I did as leaders trying to convince our members that we had to do something to provide some transparency to the public.
Right.
I don't think that there should be an outright ban on people trading stock, but I do think the public has a right to know exactly what their members of Congress are buying and selling. And, you know, it's not too dissimilar to what we have in the private sector. I know here at Moelis & Company, we're a publicly traded company, and we abide by all the rules of the SEC and compliance and conflict. And there are steps that you have to take if you are going to be engaging in stock buying.
Right. But Eric, don't you think, I mean, look, I would make the argument to you that both for the credibility of the markets unto themselves and perhaps more importantly for the credibility of our democracy and our elected leaders, it's better off that they're not trading individual stocks so that we're not having this conversation about whether they're abusing their positions.
Well, listen, I think there's no question from the perception it would be simpler, but I'm not sure that we want to ban people from doing it. I know I made an individual choice, my wife and I, that we were only going to go in if we had money to invest and invest in ETFs, mutual funds, and the rest. But again, even those can be subject to criticism because, you know, there's inside information
Right.
and then there's sort of market moving information. I think it's the latter that a member of Congress may be perceived to have access to prior to the public. But again, if you increase transparency, and this is what we tried to do in the Stock Act many years ago, which was at the time there wasn't even a requirement to disclose that you were going to have a trade coming up, and you could wait to the end of the year to do that. So I think what could happen is they could strengthen the notice requirement, strengthen the penalty that a member would have to incur if he or she did not comply with that notice requirement. And you could even put a delay in to once an individual wants to put an order in. I know at public companies, we have to do this. You go and Eric, you say, I want to buy this stock. And then there's an approval process.
If you really just look at it, though, seriously, if you're actually involved in legislation that is going to impact the things you're investing in, that's like the greatest scam in the history. Bernie Madoff wouldn't have had to do any of what stuff he was doing. I mean, the Wolf of Wall Street would have traded his position at his firm for being able to do that. It's just patently obvious. And what I really get is that, well, we need people that are in Congress that understand the business world and the stock. But they don't. I mean, I watch them. They've had the ability to trade stocks, and they're the most financially illiterate group of people that I've ever seen, for the most part. So that hasn't helped. So I think I might be with Andrew on this one. If you're making laws about semiconductors and able to buy stocks that are in the semiconductor business.
So think about this. If, let's say, they were to require a 30-day lag in notice. So if an individual is putting in an amendment in a committee markup and they want to go buy stock in a company that is going to be subject to this new legislation, let's have that notice. Let's have that individual who serves in Congress on that committee submit notice and let the public see.